Hey everyone, it's Bonnie. I'm just hopping on here. I was asked to answer a few questions on what we personally were doing as our family during this crisis time, and just wanted to hop on and answer some of these questions for you guys. One of the questions was, how are we dealing with the crisis, and what are we actually telling our children about the crisis, and are we allowing different things in different media? Um, Things to be able to be seen or heard so that way they make their own choice? And the answer is pretty simple. They get all of their information from us. We don't allow any of the news medias on TV. We don't want them to hear something and misunderstand what it's being actually said, or cause concern or fear in something that they can't change. So we discuss, my husband and I, about what they're going to hear, what they're going to know, and then we allow them to know it. Um, so that means no TV, no media. They definitely play their video games, they'll um, watch TV, things like that, but none of the news stations are on. They know, obviously the crisis is here. We are a very active family. We are sports enthusiasts. We go and have sports at least 5 or 6 days a week between all three of them, and we have canceled all of that stuff. So they definitely know, obviously, that things are going on. Things that I can share and explain to my 11-year-old are definitely something different that I can explain or share with my 9-year-old or even with my 5-year-old. Um, the things that I tell each one of them are basically the same idea of things, but it's age appropriate. So every one of you know your children and know what they can understand and what they cannot understand, what will cause fear for them and what won't. And we basically leave it as a very open conversation. So, hey, this is what's going on. For example, my son at 11 years old, his sports team got canceled. And so he plays soccer for travel and they canceled the entire season. Um, Leaving that with, man, this sucks, but what are you getting from this and how are you feeling about it? So leaving that conversation open to them so they can ask questions, they can tell us how they're feeling about it. Um, but we definitely want them to understand why and what's going on. We are very, very close to my family. We have family nights every Friday. We live next door to them. And all of that has stopped. So needing explanation on that um, was a very tough one, knowing that we can see them, but we can't actually go over and play with them or talk to them um, very closely at all. So that was a huge change, a huge adjustment. But explaining to our children that, these are the things that are going to keep us safe, and we need to just kind of follow them the best we can. Again, like I stated, we are very, very active. We go probably more often than we stay at home. Um, Even just things as something as simple as going to a store or shopping and, going to the park. We homeschool, so we were already home for school. That none of that changed. Our schooling actually never even skipped a beat. So that was nice and well done, and also, capable and helped during this time of crisis because they had something that stayed the same. So during the morning time, they get up, they do their schoolwork, and then the stuff afterwards kind of all changed for them. But keeping all of that information out there, but age appropriate, was really, really important for us. So making sure that they aren't getting, you know, things from TV or from people that really don't know um, what's going on. And sometimes us as parents can kind of get on and it makes us nervous just listening and kind of concerned about, not having answers and all that. And our children are no different. They understand a lot more than we kind of probably think they do. And they take things differently than what we think they do. So listening to that kind of stuff and having a fear for them was just not something we wanted. So we wanted to make sure that everything and all the information that they actually got from this situation was from us. We don't share anything that we can't back up. So if they don't know when the time is that sports are going to come back, we tell them that we don't know, and we don't give them, a pretend hope that it's going to come back on the 1st or it's going to come back on the 6th, because we don't want that to be a letdown. So instead, we just say, we don't know yet. There's no real answers. Knowing, when between, Chase and karate and Ethan and Josh and soccer, and knowing that all of their seasons are kind of coming to an end and they haven't even really started is really hard, but I don't want to give them false hope on top of it. So we just kind of leave it to, we decide personally, my husband and I, and decide what we want to share, what we want to do, and then we talk to them personally about it. Leaving at any real moment that if I see that I'm alone with one of them in the kitchen or in the living room, I tuck them in every night at bedtime and just kind of ask if they have any questions or if they're concerned or nervous about something, and I try to answer it the best that I can. With that being said, I try really, really hard to make sure that I keep any conversations that we have about this situation separated. I don't want to talk with my 11-year-old about something and have my 5-year-old listen, because my 11-year-old will take what I'm saying and understand it, or my 5-year-old won't, and he may take something completely different out of the situation. So I try really hard to make sure that if we are going to talk, it's always one-on-one. So that way they can ask questions, they can share, or be nervous or however they're feeling, and I can give them any information that I can, knowing what I know that they can understand and what they can't. Another question I was asked was kind of what we have been doing, or what activities have we been doing to kind of keep us busy during this time of waiting and sitting. A lot of things have changed for all of us during this time. We are a very busy family. We go, go, and go, with 3 kids in active sports and travel soccer and all of that kind of stuff. Um, but really, a lot of the stuff for us personally as adults, um, really haven't changed much. I homeschool, so they haven't skipped anything for that. And the only real big thing, I guess, for our family has been that TJ has been working from home, which has been a blessing, but definitely an adjustment. My kids are loud. We have 3 kids, and they're, very, very loud. So having to be quiet, or, him being on meetings, and we have 2 dogs who bark at everything. And that has been much more difficult than I guess I anticipated it being. But it's really easy as adults to kind of just look at things that have changed for us and state whether it was good or bad and kind of move on about our day. But we really should be looking at how it affects our children as well. For example, Ethan, has worked really, really hard at soccer, but he has given everything he can. He works out daily. He runs on the treadmill every day. He, puts that ball on his foot at all times and is always striving to get better. And his entire soccer season just got canceled and taken right from underneath him. Joshua, who has been, looking forward to his soccer season since, fall, and he just found out that he can't play soccer for this whole season. And not only will he not play now, he'll have to skip all summer and then hopefully be able to play in the fall. And it's really easy as adults to kind of skip over that and not really think about how that's going to affect them. But it does. And it's a really big adjustment for them. So we as adults and as parents should really be making sure that we not only just kind of look at our problems or our adjustments and kind of move past them, but we really should be helping our children and kind of seeing where they are coming from on their situation. For soccer, for a kid who plays all the time and spends all of his extra time trying to get better, it is horrible to all of a sudden have that ripped out from underneath you. And to just kind of say, okay, well, yeah, that was yesterday, but let's move on. It's kind of like you guys losing out on your favorite thing or best thing that you guys worked so hard for. And so instead, what we did was we, broke the news that it was kind of, this is what was going on. And we allowed him to be sad. You need to feel those feelings. You have to be able to express and understand that you have a right to be sad. Things are changing, and sometimes when things change, it sucks. It's bad. And so we allowed him to feel those feelings, and pushed him almost to say, how are you feeling, and show some negative things about how you're feeling. Don't just smile and say it's okay, but instead really feel those feelings, because you need to be able to feel them to be able to move past them. And he was definitely sad, definitely heartbroken. The 5-year old, he just kind of keeps asking every single day if today's the day that we get to play soccer. And luckily, my 9-year old, they have done amazing with his karate and actually moved everything onto Zoom. So he still goes to, he does his Zoom class 3 times a week, and that hasn't changed much for him. So besides it being at home compared to in the building, his stuff has been pretty good. But things that are changing for our kids, we need to acknowledge that it's probably more important to them, because that's kind of what their life revolves around at this point, than it is to us. So we looked at it and said, wow, we have 6 days a week now that are going to be free. And realizing that 6 days a week being free means that our children don't get to do what they love and want to do. And that was really, really hard to watch them kind of deal with. With that being said, we also make sure that the kids don't stay down. They don't stay sad or depressed or angry. We talk about what good things can come out of that. So, yes, soccer got canceled for the entire summer, and that sucks. But we can work all summer and make sure that we're getting even better, stronger, for the fall season, and making sure that it's really hard to kind of turn it around, but making sure that they're a part of that so they can see us doing that and seeing the positive in us and then changing it for themselves. And I think that's really, really important. For Chase, he is very ritual. This is the same kid that I still at age 9 have to talk and calm him down going to the dentist, every single time we go. So it's switching and changing has been a adjustment for him, but allowing him, I think, to be sad and to say, man, this is horrible. I'm really angry about this. Has done really good for him. We can't expect our kids to just bypass everything and move past it all. If we're struggling, then our kids are struggling. If we're worried about something, our kids are worried about it. And making sure that we as parents are kind of allowing them to be angry, to have these feelings, but then also to show them that there's a way to look at the positive side. And there's a way to realize that all of this is eventually going to go away, and we're going to be able to go and do the things that we still love doing. But don't stay down in the, sadness or the anger. Instead, think of something positive that can come out of this and move from that. Some things that have changed for our family personally, since the whole crisis has started, is the fact that we don't get to do some major things that we kind of did all the time. So we would get together for family night every week, with my extended family, and we would play cards, and the cousins could get together and have fun playing their tablets or whatnot, and they can't do any of that. Doing a date night for TJ and I, and my mom would keep the grandchildren all every other weekend, and all of that has stopped. But I urge you, I guess, to kind of think about all of the things that have changed for us and see it from your child's point of view. So it didn't just change for you. TJ and I look forward to our date night every other weekend, and some time where we can sleep in and we don't have to, feed everybody or get everybody a drink. Nobody's calling my name every 5 seconds. But that also means that it's sad for us to, miss that and not have that, but it's also sad for them. They were able to play with their cousins. They were able to spend the night at their grandmother's house, and all of those things have changed for them. So they're missing out on that, just like we're missing out. And I urge you to kind of really search at everything that you have lost or are missing during this time and see what your kids are missing out on as well. Ask them how they're doing about it, see what they're saying and how they feel about the whole situation. Some things that we did that kind of we were hoping, I guess, to make better during this time was that TJ and I did started a camp out in the living room. We allow the kids to kind of pick a movie on the TV, we pop popcorn, and they're all allowed to sleep on the living room couch. And as much as they love that, if you ask any of them, they would still choose to go to grandma's house. But it's something that they still get to look forward to, something exciting, and we try to add something in. So, whether it be making s'mores or making brownies or whatever it is, something small, but something that they can kind of look forward to throughout the week and work towards so that way they know this is coming. It's really, really easy during this time to kind of forget what time it is and what day it is and be able to just kind of have our stuff all crumble together. But for kids, they need something that they're going to look forward to and work towards. And we need to make sure that we're giving them something. So even if it's something as small as watching a family movie on the television, giving them that and popping some popcorn, maybe exactly what they need to be able to be good and listen and have something to strive for and be good for. Another thing that we have chosen to kind of start doing is we started as a church doing the birthday bombing. We saw some kids that we knew that had a birthday coming up, and unfortunately, all of their birthday celebrations were canceled. There's nothing open. There's no time that we can all get together and celebrate this person. So instead, we got together with some of our church family and we decided to get in our cars and drive by and do some birthday bombing and just drop off a small gift, make a big deal out of it. And my children love it. It's not their birthday. Their birthdays aren't until the end of the year. So they're not getting anything out of it except for learning that other people are benefiting from it. And seeing them just as excited as these kids who are getting gifts has been such a positive thing for me. They are looking forward to every week. We do it once a week. We do it on Thursdays, and they are just over the moon excited. They write this child a card, a letter from them personally, and we just drop off a small gift. There's probably 8 to 10 cars that are involved. We all keep our distance, but it's something that they all look forward to, including my children. And what a great way to do something during this boring time. We can go and make somebody else happy, and that's so important. Not only important for them, but important for us. It makes our spirits happier when we are making other people smile. So one of the things was the birthday bombing. Another one is that we did some painting of the door. We made a cross and used some tape and just painted the door, and they loved it. They were could be as creative as they wanted. They used whatever color paints they wanted. It was all washable. It wasn't a big deal. I think it total cost me maybe $8, and it stayed on my door for a month. They thought it was the best thing, and they were so excited to show other people. And it took them probably within 2 hours to actually complete it. But it was something that they opened the door every day to see their stained glass. And it was just such a positive experience for them to do, and something that kind of took that time that they would have been doing something else. We also did some egging, and so we put some eggs in a bag and kind of just dropped it off at a few of their friends' houses, and with a little note from them saying how much, we hope that they have a blessed day and all of that. And we again still all kept our distance. We're able to still keep our distance, still obey the rules, yet still bless others. And I've seen those days that we're doing things for other people and the attitude in my children. And it's such a positive time where they're happy and they're excited and they're looking forward to it compared to just sitting on the couch doing nothing, being bored. So I would highly suggest, if you guys haven't done something to bless somebody else, do it. Do anything that you could think that would put a smile on somebody else's face. You don't need a lot of money. You don't need a lot of time, a lot of energy. Just walking by somebody and making sure that you put a smile on their face not only, blesses them and makes them happy, but really it does do a great thing for you. And it does a great thing for your kids too, seeing that they could look at somebody and, we could drive by somebody and they could say, "Hey, we should put a smile on that person's face." Don't we all want our children to think like that? We want them to help, and that's how God wants us to be. God wants us to love on others and bless others. And during this time, we're able to show our children that we have all the time in the world, and you don't need a lot of money to love on somebody else and make them feel like they're important, because they are. Everybody is important. No matter who you are, you have an important job here. God wouldn't have put you here had you didn't if you didn't have an important job. So make sure that you guys, if you're feeling down and sad and depressed or lonely, get out and bless somebody. It does such a great thing. Um, so that's another thing that we did. And, we as a family had started doing the campouts in the living room. We'll get a movie, popcorn, and the kids love it. It's something super easy, super simple. 9 times out of 10, they end up picking an all boy movie that I'm not into, but they're happy and it's worth it. It's not a big deal. Another thing that my husband and I have been doing since date nights have been canceled is playing a video game together. So we picked up the Mario game and we started playing it, and we will play it for maybe an hour or 2 hours at a time. But it's just a time where the kids know that this is a mommy and daddy thing. We drink our coffee or we'll chat and just kind of laugh during this time. And it's as much of a date as we can right now. But it's such a needed time. We can talk about things that, the kids don't need to hear, and just kind of see how they're doing personally, and how, something that he's been thinking about or something that I've been thinking about, and we can express that to each other. And our rule is that if we are doing our date time, the kids have to go downstairs and they can play their video game downstairs. So it's a time where it can really just be us. We kind of put on some worship music and we play a video game. And find something that you and your spouse or your father or mother or whoever you are in with right now, and get some of that adult time, because that's really, really important and really needed. If you're not going to be good for yourself, you're not going to be good for your kids. So find something that you guys like to do and be okay with just, having that, even if it's for 30 minutes a week or, an hour, whatever it can be. Just find something that you guys like personally together and do it. Also, I suggest that you guys try, make a list, you and your spouse, and see something that's on their list that they like doing that you've never tried yet, and try it. So I love painting, and TJ, came and tried to paint with me. And as much as he was kind of felt awkward or different, it meant the world to me because he was willing to try to do something that I enjoyed, and that meant something. And during this time of kind of feeling like, you're forgotten about, or you're nervous that, you don't get this or you don't get to do that, spend this time really kind of making sure that that person feels that they're special and important. One of the really important questions was, what do I want my kids to take away from this? What do I want them to learn from everything that's going on and all of this? And it's really quite simple. I want them to understand that everything that they have can be taken away. It's in a moment. All the stuff that they had, that they did, they loved, all could be taken away in a heartbeat. So some of the things that we do is we leave a thankful chart on the fridge. Each one of them have it. They did it as a option for from Pastor Ed on a Sunday morning. And if they are sad about something they're missing or a person that they're missing, we have them go write it on their chart. And that way they remember that these are people that they should be thankful for, and they should be acknowledging that they miss, and be able to acknowledge that this is something that was really important to them. And it's really easy for us to kind of become accustomed to it and make it a normal thing that we kind of stop being thankful for. But we should be thankful for all of these things. As a mom and as a very, very much lover of coffee, having Starbucks closed was something that was very big. And it's something so stupid, so small, but it was something that I didn't realize I was thankful for. I was thankful every time I got in my car that I was able to stop at a Starbucks. There's a Starbucks everywhere. So I was able to go and get a coffee anytime I was in my car until it was closed. And now I realize how thankful I am that I had the opportunity to get a Starbucks coffee whenever I wanted to. So I encourage you guys to really write down some of the things that you personally and then your children are thankful for. And don't just have that be the moment, but instead put on your fridge. Let them continue to add to that during this time and let them continue to put on that list the things that they are missing or the things that they wish they could do. And that way, after all of this is done, these are the things that they get to go back to, but the things that they get to make sure that they are thankful for. And that's really, really important. They need to be thankful for all of these things that they get to do during this time and thankful for the things they don't get to do, but will get to do afterwards. Another thing that I want my kids to take away from all of this is that there's two things that will never go away. One being the fact that you have the opportunity and the chance to have a relationship with God. Nobody can take that away from you. You personally, my relationship with God has not gone away because the coronavirus is here. I have a relationship with God whether the coronavirus is here or not. And that's one thing that nobody could take away from me. The other thing was the fact that you have the ability to put a smile on somebody's face no matter what's going on. You can be happy and you can just share kindness to other people. And you don't need to know what their situation is. You don't need to know all the information. And you don't need to be the pastor of a church or this very outgoing person or anything like that. You can be this shy, quiet person who may see a need that other people don't. And you can bless somebody else. And it doesn't have to be something extravagant. You don't have to go buy somebody dinner. You can do something as small and simple as making sure that you didn't put the cart away at Aldi and you gave somebody else a cart. It's something so small, but make sure that you guys understand and your kids understand that that's something that nobody can take away. Nobody can take away the fact that you can bless somebody else. They can take your money away, but you can still bless somebody. You can put a smile on other people's faces. And if every one of us are doing that, all of us are walking around with a smile. I can tell you that from experience of me helping other people and blessing other people, whether it cost me money or it cost me nothing, it has literally changed my heart and it has made me smile. And that's kind of what we all want to do at this moment. It's not changing our outcome whether we are sad and depressed or if we're smiling. Let's bless other people. Let's make sure that they understand that during this time, nobody can take your blessing away. You can be a blessing by blessing others. And they can look down and look around at the street and they can clean up trash on their street. And I can promise you that somebody's going to notice that. Being nice and kind, somebody's going to notice that and it's going to put a smile on somebody else's face. And nobody can take that from you, no matter what's going on in our life. Nobody can take that. So the two things really that nobody can take, and no matter what the circumstances, it can't change, is the fact that you can have a relationship with God and you can be a blessing to others. You don't have to have all the money or anything else. You can do all of these things just with you. And I encourage that you guys are really pushing this to your children. Let them not only, have you be their cheerleader in the back telling them that they should be doing these things, but let them see you doing them. Look around. Who can you bless today? Who can you make feel good? From a letter, from a phone call, from, picking up flowers or really anything. And just kind of seeing who you could bless and let your kids be a part of that. They love helping and being a part of making sure that somebody else is smiling. And like I stated before, my kids think that birthday bombing on Thursdays is the best thing in the entire world. They look forward to it tremendously, and it's not their birthday. They get nothing out of this situation. They're not getting a gift. They spend time making a card. They get to drive in the car and they see somebody else smile. They love it. We can all go and bless other people, and it doesn't take a lot of work to do that. So really, I guess ask yourself, what is it something, what's something that you yourself or you want your kids to be learning from this situation and from the whole, crisis that we have going on right now? And is it something positive? We can sit down and we can be negative and we can talk about the coronavirus and we can argue back and forth, and we're all not going to agree on everything. And that's fine, but that's not going to change anything. So during this time of sitting at home and being, you know, having as much time as we can, what do you want your kids to learn during this time? Because right now you're their teacher. And what's a positive thing that you want them to learn? I can tell you that one of my things I want my children to learn is that they should always be a blessing. Bless somebody else, whether you have a lot or a little. Make somebody else smile, because you never know when you're going to be on the other side of that and you're going to need that smile from somebody else. So I encourage you to really make sure that you're able to show your children that you can be a blessing no matter what. I also want to leave with and end with the fact that your kids need to know that you're stressed or you're scared or you're nervous, or your kids need to see that you have feelings and you have emotions too. And they need to see that you're not okay all the time. I can tell you that I have days where I'm like, we're not going to do score today. We're going to relax. I just kind of need a day of recouping. And those are the days that are the best because my kids acknowledge that I have feelings and that I need to be able to have time to kind of regroup and re-get my energy there. And I find those days to be the ones that they help out so much more and that they play with each other without arguing so much more. And it's just things that, we don't want our kids to feel like they are weird or different because they have feelings that they're expressing, but then they look at their parents and their parents look like they're fine, like they're not stressed about anything or concerned about anything. All that's going to do is make your kids feel awkward or like there's something wrong with them. We need to tell them that, during this time, I don't know the answer either, and that's okay. I don't know that when soccer is going to start, or I don't know when we get to go back to karate or our homeschool gym where we get to swim. I don't know. And I'm really sad about that. And letting them see that I have emotions and that I'm sad about the fact that we're skipping out on these things shows them that it's okay for them to be sad. But the second part of that is making sure that we're not staying sad. So, I don't want my kids to have these feelings of they're sad, but then that's the end of it. I want them to move on. So one of the things I found was it's okay to not be okay. And that's really important. You can not be okay, and that's fine, but you can't stay there. You have to pick yourself back up. So it's okay if you're sad. It's okay if you're depressed. It's okay if you're angry. It's okay if everything came crashing down. Have your feelings, but then put a smile on your face and don't unpack your bags there. Move on and get over them. And try to be a blessing. Try to help other people and reach out if you need it. It's okay to reach out. I'm really, really bad at that. And it's something that I definitely try to get better on, but I don't ask people for help. It's something that is very difficult for me. But with that being said, if I need a day or if I need time, I have to be able to express that and I have to be able to show my feelings on that. If you guys need time, if you guys need help, if you need money, food, even just somebody to talk to, an adult, as a stay-at-home mom and of 3 kids, I remember the days of saying, I just want an adult. I want to have adult conversation instead of talking about, what three little boys talk about all the time. And maybe you just need that. And it's okay. And it doesn't make us look bad. It doesn't make us look weak. Instead, it makes us look human. And don't we want all of us to acknowledge that we are all human? We all make mistakes, us including our kids. So we need to make sure that they can see that we're making mistakes and we're sad or we have feelings about things, but we're not staying down there. We're going to move on and we're going to make it a positive experience during this time. So please make sure that if you have a question or concern or you need something, reach out to VLC, reach out to us personally, reach out to anybody you know and just kind of ask. Maybe it's a prayer, maybe it's talking on the phone, um, maybe it's just, dinner. Um, you people can bless you, and it's okay if you ask for that blessing because sometimes we need it. So I encourage that you guys are going out and you guys are expressing to your children how to be a blessing. And I look forward to all of your guys' pictures or videos or comments about making sure that you guys are, showing your kids how to be a blessing to other people. I can't wait to see how everything turns out. And I know that God will have all the glory after all of this. Have a good day, guys.